So if you're anything like me, you're probably wondering why Reiji Miyajima even wrote this chapter. On the surface, it seems like absolutely nothing happened, and Kazuya goes back to being the spineless coward that he usually is in situations like these. But after taking a closer look, I realized that this chapter may have just revealed a big hint about how Mizuhara really feels about Kazuya. Let's get into it. So the first thing you'll notice about this chapter is that Mizuhara's back is almost always turned towards Kazuya. While I was reading it, I didn't really pick this up too much, but I realized that this is extremely significant as to why. Now, it seems like when Mizuhara just lies to him about how she's feeling and just saying, oh, it's the fireworks getting in my eyes, reading that, it was extremely frustrating. She's so lying right now. But we have to take into account who Mizuhara is as a character, as to why she's lying to Kazuya. I mean, think about it. Throughout the entire story, as far as I can remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but so far, we've only seen Mizuhara be honest about her emotions with Kazuya when it has something to do with her grandmother. And that's it. We've never really seen Mizuhara be open and honest with him about her emotions regarding anything else, including her own emotions. And since now she's lost her grandmother, the only one she could entrust her true feelings to, if you remember from when she was dying, Mizuhara was so emotional. She was crying, and you could really tell all of her emotions on her face. But it's the only time up to this point that we've seen her like that. And now that she's lost her grandmother, she almost has lost that ability. I mean, Mizuhara is a very hardworking, driven person who wants to keep moving forward. But her motivation was her grandmother. And that motivation is gone. So I think Mizuhara doesn't really know how to express her emotions even to herself. She doesn't want to acknowledge them because she's afraid. She doesn't want to be weak. She doesn't want to be sad. She wants to be successful. She wants to keep moving forward. I think that's the reason why she can't even express the truth to herself. So if she can't express the truth to herself, how can she express the truth to Kazuya? And you see, Kazuya gets really frustrated at this too, because he tries to console her. I mean, look at what he says. If you look at his face here and how he's saying Mizuhara, I can tell that he's saying Mizuhara out of concern. Mizuhara. Like, are you okay? I mean, it doesn't say are you okay, but if you kind of look at the scene and the context, you'll realize that this is kind of what he's getting at. In the very first page of this chapter, Kazuya says this, I could see you trembling, and I realized. What did he realize? The first thing he realized is that she was trembling, so Kazuya did notice that something was wrong with Mizuhara, and I think he wanted to say that he realized that she's not okay. But if you look at his face right after Mizuhara lies to him and says she's fine, look at his face. It's a face of confusion. It's a face of wondering, well, I was trying to console her. I said, Mizuhara, are you okay? But nothing happened. I got a lie in exchange for my truth of concern. And now he's frustrated. Now he doesn't know what to believe anymore. I can only imagine how he's feeling right now. And I want to be mad at him. I really do. But at the same time, I get it. Because as a man, when we try to share how we really feel about a woman and trying to show concern or something along those lines, and the response is basically, I'm okay, don't worry about it, it's kind of a blow to self-esteem. You know what I mean? You're trying to do your best to cheer her up, and she can almost make you question whether you should have said anything at all. And it's this sort of humiliating experience. And I think that's exactly what Kazuya's going through right now. And this is the part that I really, really want to get to. At this point, after Mizuhara tells her lie, Mizuhara's back is almost always facing Kazuya. And not only is her back turned towards Kazuya, but she's basically ignoring his existence. And you guys, let's look at this. Look at how different their expressions are. Kazuya's kind of drifting off into insecurity, which makes sense. Being blown off like that could make you do that, but Mizuhara is trying to push forward, is trying to put on this face of perfection, being the perfect girlfriend, going on with this date like it's fine. But what Mizuhara may or may not realize is that she's completely ignoring Kazuya. Now, this might seem like it's a bad thing, but I think that this shows that Mizuhara trusts Kazuya. Now, that might seem a little bit silly, but listen to this. If Mizuhara actually made eye contact with Kazuya, knowing that Kazuya just shared his concern, she might feel like she may trust him enough to confide, or she may trust him enough to actually break down. Now, Mizuhara is actually afraid of her own emotions, so she doesn't want to break down. She doesn't want to say, I miss my grandma. She doesn't want to say how she's really feeling. Maybe how she's an emotional wreck. That's not something that she wants to do because she knows that might happen if she even looks at Kazuya. So to me, her ignoring Kazuya is a really, really good thing. And from this moment forward, since Mizuhara is just ignoring Kazuya kind of gets this chance to sort of think to himself, mainly about how he's insecure, but on the other hand, he's also processing his love for Mizuhara. I mean, this panel here, but still. Mizuhara! I can't help myself. The way you're always smiling. When I look at you, there's a lot going on in this panel. Kazuya really is experiencing overwhelming emotion for Mizuhara. And from my perspective, my opinion on this is I'm wondering whether he's in love with Mizuhara, the perfect rental girlfriend, or he's in love with the true Mizuhara. The only thing that makes this kind of hard to answer is that Mizuhara has only shown her true emotions when it has to do with her grandma. So I'm wondering if Kazuya even knows the real Mizuhara. I know that he wants to know her, but he's gonna have to get to know her before that love can turn real, at least in my opinion. But all we know right now is that Kazuya has love for Mizuhara and cares about her a great, great, great deal. But it's just so sad because they're having these two completely separate experiences in the same space. I mean, look at how different this panel looks from the rest of the date. We see them going out to dinner, we see them laughing, we see them talking, we see them having these experiences together, mainly making eye contact. But in this particular dark moment, Mizuhara is playing the perfect girlfriend on one side, where on the other side, Kazuya is being really depressed and thinking about how insecure he is. And Mizuhara is completely oblivious to this because she can't. She doesn't want to reveal her true emotions. But then at the very end, Mizuhara can't avoid it when Kazuya says, my perfect girlfriend, I think he's about to say, she's standing right in front of me. Listen, when a girl that you love tells you that hopefully you find someone else, it's one of the most heartbreaking things a man can hear. Hearing from the person that you would die for, hearing from the person that you love more than any woman in this world, that maybe you'll find someone else? It's not only a rejection, it's almost a slap in the face. And given Kazuya's emotional instability throughout this chapter, he sort of reveals something that he wasn't planning on revealing. Mizuhara can no longer escape this conversation. Kazuya says, "My perfect girlfriend, she's..." And look at what he says at the end. He didn't think. His emotions, his words, simply overflowed. Kazuya can't hold back the truth anymore. And next chapter, we get a chance to see what Kazuya's heart reveals, and hopefully what Mizuhara has to say to respond. Do you think that Mizuhara can finally get the guts to be honest with her feelings about her grandmother's death, not only with herself, but with Kazuya as well? Thanks for watching.